Thank you, everybody, for joining us back here at Punk Panda's channel. We have another special person on for you guys today as we sit here with the co-founder and chief executive officer of the company, Mr. Albert Muir. Albert, how are you holding up today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm here in the Philippines and looking very forward to the year 2023, sir. Thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I want to kind of talk about how the year transition there. But before we do, I want to get a solid introduction out of you. So tell me kind of how you got involved in this space in the first place.
Okay. Yeah. I was born and raised in the USA, grew up as a farmer out in Kansas. And back then, the theory was just work really hard and that's how you would succeed in life. And I didn't see a lot of people succeeding. So I did some real estate along the way. And then all of a sudden I got introduced into a traditional multi-level marketing company that had nutritional products and stuff. And coming from that Kansas background, I just worked harder than everybody. And I found myself in one of the top positions there after a couple of years, which got me just a little bit of notoriety. And through that notoriety, they decided they were going to open in the country of Malaysia. So that was my first introduction into Asia market. And while I was over here, I met some business people and they said, we have an off the blockchain project and we'd like you to be our international marketing director. So I decided to take them up on their offer. And when I landed in Malaysia, I thought it was a little bit strange. I'm sitting at this table where there's about 20 leaders and they're going, Mr. Muir, can we just make sure that this project survives for 9 months so we have time to build? And that was my first time being introduced to what I would call Ponzi schemes, basically. They were running rampant all over Asia at that time. And I said, yes, this is a real project backed by silver. So had a lot of success there. I eventually was named the president of that company about 6 months later. And it was a project that was backed by silver. Unfortunately, they found that the owners didn't quite own all the silver that they had claimed. They owned about 25% of the amount. So that led me to being the CEO of Veltinas. And that was a company that was based out of Hong Kong. And then from there is where I met my partner now, Marcus Schubert. And he was a big leader there. And I had just come in on the tail end and that project was falling apart. And during this time period that we were friends for the next 3 years after that, we wanted to get involved and start something where basically nobody could get hurt. A project that that when it started, that it could. And that's what led us to this concept of PunkPanda. So that's how I got involved in the industry. And in a very short, succinct story, that's how we got started here with PunkPanda.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm kind of curious then. So as you're sitting in the CEO role, so to speak, walk me through then what you handle, what you delegate, and so on.
Mainly what I want to do is just what the future is. I mean, that's kind of my forte. Between the two of us, my forte is kind of like creating and stuff like that. So the way that I became the CEO was basically, it was the tokenomics that was designed behind this. So I'll just back up a little further. How this all got started was Marcus had given me a call and he said, I've seen this brand and the brand is really, really cool. And he goes, and it has to do with a messaging app. He goes, take a look at it and see if there's something we can do together here. So I looked at it and it was basically a secure messaging app. Got on the phone with the 3 or 4 principals that were involved. And I said, gentlemen, I don't think you have anything here because you're basically telling me that you guys don't have millions of dollars. Because I think it's going to take millions of dollars of marketing this to get anybody's attention to download another secure messaging app. There's several of them in the world right now. And so I politely declined about 3 times. And it was at that same time that I just lost about $3,000 on a crypto project. And I thought this crypto project was one of the greatest things I ever saw. It kind of mirrored Bitcoin. It mirrored Bitcoin on the smart chain. And they said they've condensed it down to 15 years instead of all the years that it's going to take to mine all the Bitcoin into 2047. So what happened was there was a flaw in the Binance smart chain that allowed somebody to take their tokens and during a 30-minute period, send them to several different wallets and they get credit for that. It was the same 10,000 tokens, but getting credit for having them in several different wallets during that 30 minutes. So somebody exploited that flaw. But what really took my attention during this time period, in their Telegram group, if somebody took one of the tokens and they sold them, everybody else laughed at them because the staking rewards were very high, and you only got the staking rewards while you were holding. So
Mhm.
people were laughing at people, mocking them, and I'd never seen anything like that in crypto. So that was about 50% of the idea right there. Get back on the phone with them, and the owner, this was the fourth and final phone call. And the owner said, I said, basically, I don't think you have anything unique here. I just, unless you have millions of dollars. And he never said a word during that whole call. And then all of a sudden at the very end, he goes, we do have something unique. We have military encrypted communications. And for some reason, that just kept sticking in my mind during that day. That night when I lay down to go to sleep, all of a sudden I kind of had this vision of like this 5-star General Panda. And he's got all of these, he's got Panda Meet out there, he's got Panda App, he's got the Panda Play Panda out there. And he's going, privates, report into me. And Panda App steps up and goes, we're about ready to go past WhatsApp this year, sir, like this. And then that's when I kind of had the vision of how this could be marketed. And I said, what if the app is free? And the way that we could get people involved in this, if we gave them crypto for free to basically use it, share it, own it. And so I come up with the tokenomics part. And then about a week later, Marcus coined that phrase, use it, own it, use it, share it, own it. And when he put those 6 words, I mean, just like my blood just started boiling, and I just knew we were onto something big. And at that time, it was basically just a theory. So to answer your question, this is what I wanted to accomplish. Anybody in a third world country could simply pick up a smartphone, because after spending almost 11 years over here in Asia, the one thing I've realized, sometimes a family will sit down and they don't even have a bowl of rice, but everybody in that family will have a smartphone. Every one of them, okay? It's an essential part of life, no matter what economic background you're from. Somebody with a smartphone never have to invest 1 penny and be able to go out and introduce a free app. So they're not asking anybody for any money. They're not asking them for any type of investment, and to be able to make life-changing money. So even now I still get goosebumps, because that was over a year ago, about 1 year and 1 month ago. And as of today, it's no longer a theory. We've had several thousand people around the world, in India, in Russia, in the Philippines, poor economic backgrounds, that have got out and they've simply earned PPM tokens. And those PPM tokens have basically not only made life-changing, but for some people, generational changing money. So that's the one, that was my vision. And that's what I keep leading for. It's bringing in people that are of a poor economic, and to be able to have success where they would have never had success anywhere else. Because all other companies, cryptos, you have to come out of pocket, and you have to put in an investment, and you have to hold. And here you don't have to do that. So many, many people, many leaders all over the world call this a unicorn. And that I have to agree with them, Michael.
Yeah, it's a really unique strategy there. And that was a lesson I had actually learned working with a project based out of Africa, where I would be talking to people and they'd be using a smartphone while they're in a small village or something. And that's when that was kind of clicking. It's like, wow, the phones have become so ubiquitous now. People can access the internet from anywhere. And it's like, oh man, all the infrastructure is going to have to be all phone based at that point, because it's just so easy to get it into people's hands. And it's such a powerful tool for people from any background.
Correct. Yes, yes.
And so I guess from there, so 2022 is now in the rearview mirror by currently on the 12 days here for me. And
Correct.
I'm kind of curious. So if you could put a bow on it and kind of wrap up how you feel it was, and how it's poised you for 2023 here, what would you say?
I would say all of us that are involved in this industry are poised for a great 2, 3, 4, 5 year remarkable market. And the reason I say that is I remember when the internet had just been around for just about 12 years. I sent my first email. And I remember 6 years prior to that, a person sitting in my office when I was involved in real estate saying, advertise here. It was only like $5 or $6 to advertise on the internet versus the $1,300 page that I had in the yellow pages.
Mhm.
And I said, nobody's going to see that, and decline. And about 6 years later, I sent my first email ever. And that was the first time I was ever on the internet. And I remember at that time, only about 1 out of 25 of my friends actually had internet in their house. 10 years later, everybody in the world had internet or mobile data. So I believe that's where we are in the crypto market. And during that time, we had the .com bubble and all that stuff. So I believe that's exactly where we are in the crypto industry. New industry, 12 years old. Right now, one out of about 25 people maybe have been involved in crypto or got some crypto.
Yeah.
10 years from now, the whole world will be involved. So we have a very bright future. It's just not today.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And I think you're seeing the adoption of it happen for all sorts of reasons. As you had mentioned, areas that don't have solid banking or currencies to begin with are playing a totally different game than me based here out of the US. I remember talking with someone I had met from Venezuela, and we're on two totally different wavelengths with
Yes.
cryptocurrencies. While for me, it's speculative ventures and passions. For them, it's more like, well, if you have to, you don't really have a choice unless you want to like
Yes.
have the government just have your money disappear on you. So is what it
Yep.
is. But yeah, it's really interesting. And I think it's helping a lot of people along the way. And the way you've kind of poised your project is a really interesting way to help out in that way as well. But Albert, it's been great getting to know you a little bit here. And I guess, is there anything else you're specifically excited about this year that you want people to know about?
Yes. And because one of the things that we accomplished in this first 1 year, there's some things that we would have liked to have done better. You know, we introduced a beta app, and then we introduced a secondary app, and then the third one. During that time, we were shut down for about 4 months. But when we look at the year in hindsight, if you go to Google Play right now, there's about 3.5 million apps that are on Google Play. Only 268 of them have had over 1 million downloads in their very first year. So we accomplished that in our very first year, number 269 to do it. And when you go back and you look at what those companies have done, the 268, and you know most of them, Call of Duty, Candy Crush, Google Maps, anything has to do with messaging or communications like what we are in here with Zoom is valued at least $11 billion. That's their valuation. So one of the things that I've always told people about a crypto project, look at the project and say, you know what? If I took crypto out of it and it was based on fiat, would it be a good business? So that's what I've always invited people to do with PunkPanda. Take the crypto out. Forget about the crypto token that we have. If we were fiat based, would we have a real business? And I think when people ask themselves that question, you say yes. So we're very proud to have gone through 2022, being number 269 to ever reach 1 million downloads within the first 1 year. And basically the minimum valuation on any of those companies is $100 million. That's like the lowest, going all the way up to, you know, just multi billions, you know, with Facebook and some of the bigger ones out there that we know. So 2023 is looking very, very good for us. During this crypto market with the Luna and the FTX crash and everything, we're still bringing on somewhere between 4,000 to 6,000 brand new downloads every day, brand new members that are earning their crypto for free with no investment. So our 2023 is looking very bright, sir.
Perfect. Very glad to hear it. And again, it was great getting to know you. I look forward to recording with you more in the future. Hope everybody watching follows us as well. And if you have any questions, do not be afraid to send them over. For now, Albert, please have a wonderful day and happy 2023.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks, sir.